So tonight I'm not going to do a whole bunch of commentary. So it's going to be like the regular meeting. I'm not going to say nothing. So tomorrow I'll come and talk about what's going on and what happened. We about to check out what Lori Lightfoot found in her investigation that she did. So we about to check that out and see what's happening with that. What's happening with that. How's everybody doing? Good evening. Hey, Claudia. Hey, where you been? Hey, hon. Thank you for coming over. Yes, honey. I ain't seen you in a bit. All right, people coming in. Hey, Harry Sims. What's up? Oh, I ain't seen y'all guys in a minute. Good to see y'all. I hope all is well. Yeah, so we about to get into it. It's about to start. So, yeah, that's good to hear. Yes, honey. Glad that everybody is well and everything is okay. Yes. Yeah, so this is the moment we've been waiting for to see what Lori Lightfoot had. What she found in her investigation is a lot allegedly that's going on. So we definitely gotta hear. So like I said, I'm not gonna be doing a lot of talking because I want us to be able to listen and hear what's going on. Tomorrow I'll probably come on and basically break it down and we can have a discussion about it. Yeah, but we just gonna listen today so we can be refreshed and know what's going on. So when we do talk tomorrow, we can basically have an idea and know what the hell we talking about. Yep. Yes. All right. Let me try to get this. All right. So I was waiting for the trustee page to come on in so we can watch it off of there. Hey, bitch, stomach look. Hey, girl. How are you? Yes. We in the building already. Waiting for this thing to start. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna just go in the room so we can see what's going on.
Okay, good evening, everybody. How's everybody today? It's wonderful to see so many smiling faces and interested faces, and so we want to make sure that we keep the spirits up. We have a lot of information to report, so we're going to go get ready to convene our meeting. I'll ask first Clerk Key for a roll call.
Good evening, everyone. Okay. Trustee Norwood?
On the side.
Trustee Stan Brown is absent. Trustee Tammy Brown? Present. Trustee House?
Present.
Trustee Holmes is absent. Trustee Belcher?
Absent again?
We have a quorum.
Oh, you broke your phone. Oh man, y'all. It's storming. This thing about to start acting goofy.
And I'm sorry, we did not start the meeting correctly. The meeting is 6:33 p.m.
Thank you very much. This meeting being properly called by three trustees, Trustee House, Trustee Belcher, and Trustee Tammy Brown. We want to make sure we mark on the record, in the absence of the mayor, as the mayor is not present this week, I'm convening it, Mayor Pro Tem, and this meeting is properly called with 48 hours notice. First, we're going to ask everybody to do the pledge. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by prayer. I'll ask if we remain standing, and I'll ask former trustee Valerie Stubbs if she could lead us in prayer, please.
Everybody, hear me, can you bow your head, please? Heavenly Father, I come to you in the name of Jesus, just approaching in another day. We thank you for your mercy and grace that you have bestowed upon us. Thank you for allowing us to assemble here, Father. And I thank you for watching over everybody that live in and outside of the village of Dolton, Father. Heavenly Father, I come to you asking that we have a peaceful meeting, and I thank everybody that's in attendance. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Amen.
Okay, first order of business is general announcements. I'll ask the board if there are any general announcements to be made at this time.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to remind you this coming Saturday, tea with the trustees in this room, 14700 Evers, Lester Long Fieldhouse, will be tea with the trustees, 9:30 a.m. All the people we see here, we definitely want to see you guys Tuesday. We have awesome information every second. I'm sorry. This Saturday, we definitely have awesome information that we also share on those. Please come out and join us. It's actually for you, the residents. Of course, you know, on the board meeting, you don't get a chance to, it's supposed to be citizens address instead of citizens comments. So this is the time for you to come out and tell us things taken care of. So please come out this Saturday, not Tuesday, 9:30 a.m., right there in this very room. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Brown. Any additional comments from the board?
You have me recognized? Like everybody has been waiting on. So good to see a lot of Dollar residents. Please just work with us on our next steps of whatever we get. I just want just let everybody know that at this time, if anyone was at the meeting on Monday, you guys see that we are in a financial crisis. And I want you to trust your trustees that we are working for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Norwood.
I think it is yes. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I would just first like to say that I am so happy to see everyone. You all know what they say, a family that stays together, a family that prays together, stays together, okay? So I'd also like to just thank our residents, right? 2 Dolton residents. We know that these last 3 years have been a little difficult for us, right? We've had to make a lot of tough decisions regarding the town as a board. And I thank you all for trusting us, believing in us in the process, and knowing that we have a plan. We have a plan. I think that these last 3 years have made us stronger than ever before. I just want you all to know that I love you guys, and tonight is a good night.
One last thing, Mayor Pro Tem. We definitely want to thank Mayor Lightfoot for taking on, when I tell you, this devastating task. We thank her for taking on this task and helping not only the trustees, but also the residents. Thank you, Mayor Lightfoot.
A few other acknowledgments. I want to make sure that we will be, partnership has been critical for the Board of Trustees and the village as well. Dolton Park District has been a tremendous partner to us, so I want to make sure we give the space and having the meeting rooms when we've been locked out of our own village hall taxpayer dollars. So we want to give a round of applause to Commissioner Sandra Wills is there. I saw Commissioner Dale Towers. No, Commissioner Willis Harris is pretty close, as well as our president, Cleo Jones. I want to give them a round of applause. I don't know if I missed Commissioner Rochelle if he's present. But thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. This partnership means everything to the community and is part of the way that we move forward. So I'll give that acknowledgement. Further acknowledgement to the hard-fighting Dolton firefighters who come and show up every day for us. I know the community loves you and we appreciate everything that you're doing, and we are working hard to get you guys made whole and made correct. I will have a few other comments about the report, to preface the report, and some of the things we did make sure that it was an independent report. So the board was kind of given some kind of snippets ahead of time, but we wanted to also maintain the integrity of independence. So there are some things we'll be seeing for the first time, some things we've had kind of a heads up to. But it's given us some direction, so I'll preface some more comments. At Monday's board meeting, there were also some actions voted on by the Board of Trustees that have left confusion or ambiguity, because the board has voted to begin some layoffs for budgetary reasons, and all of those have not been implemented at this time, or they're in various phases. So we are working with our attorneys, so I'll ask if Attorney McGrath can kind of also give an update to the community on what's going on there.
I thank you, Trustee. A couple of updates since the meeting on Monday night, which a lot of items were brought out, specifically the village's finances, and why we're here tonight to go into more detail. But the board has decided to implement a hiring freeze. It was not able to be put on this agenda in time, but they want to know that, let the residents know that there's going to be a hiring freeze, that the village is just not able to hire any more employees in any department. There were some layoffs, and there's most likely going to be more layoffs, unfortunately, in the future. Since Monday's meeting, there's also been a number of instances of harassment in the workplace, threats to employees and elected officials. I've advised all staff and employees to document those incidents, and we are going to forward them to the Cook County Sheriff's Police Department, who by ordinance is the Inspector General for the Village of Dolton, and they will have the stronger arm to take action in regards to workplace harassment, retaliation, political work happening in the workplace, those kind of things. The ordinance, you get a copy of it. It was passed about 10 years ago, but the clerk can get a copy and post it. I think it'd be a good idea to let everyone know what the sheriff is authorized to look into. It's a lot of it. Once again, based on the board's directive, different individuals aren't following the board's directive. There was a deputy chief that was placed on administrative leave. He disregarded it and showed up the very next day. He then received a notice that he was terminated, and he despite being notified that he was terminated and in discussions with the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, he again showed up today. Once again, the mayor has changed the locks at the village hall. Everyone recall how orderly and how nice it was to walk into the village board meeting on Monday night when the Madam Clerk and the trustees had key fobs to get into the village. Once again, this is about the third time that she has changed the locks, so the elected officials do not have access and cannot get into the village hall, which belongs to the people. I got a call from an attorney this afternoon who unfortunately says I have a couple lawsuits that I have to file against the village. It's been pending in court, and I can't serve the village because I can't get to the clerk because the doors to the village hall are locked. So it's causing some real issues, and federal judges are aware of what's going on. But the locks have changed, emails were shut off, and I heard that Mr. Lacey and others have brought in their own IT person in an effort to gain access to their emails that were shut down. I don't know the status of that, but there's a lot of stuff that happens really, really quick. Things happen every day. You just cannot believe what's going on with this administration. But we're doing our best. These board members are doing their best. Ms. Lightfoot has a very good presentation for everyone, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions after, but I think we move on from there.
Okay, thank you for that update, Attorney McGrath. So that, having said that, we're going to move to the next item on the agenda. We have a few, I would say, quicker points that we need to vote through, and then we'll go into the presentation, but I don't think that should take extremely long. I think we've all had the opportunity to vet these items, so I'll turn over to the village clerk, Allison Key.
Again, most of you guys know that my minutes are never put on the agenda for the regular board meeting, so I have to get them approved here. So I'll quickly go through the minutes, dates, and ask for the board's approval. So I'm asking for approval for minutes for May 6th, May 13th, June 3rd, and July 1st. I'm asking that the board would approve the 4-minute dates for minutes.
So move.
Okay, Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have nothing under old business. For new business, we put on here, we are still in, this is still a work in progress, but it will be one of the things we are working towards to move the village forward as one of our solutions. We are going to be reassigning the board committees so that we can reinstitute the finance committee, police and fire, personnel committee, housing committees. So that will be forthcoming on an upcoming agenda. We're still kind of identifying, I think we have the chairs identified. We want to make sure that we round it out with good talent. So that will be coming on an upcoming agenda. Item B, we put out an RFP for review for bids on a new towing company or new towing contract. Want to highlight that we did it in an RFP format, so that way we can make sure we get the best bang for our buck. We made sure that there are 2 current tow companies that received the notification, as well as the notification being placed in the public newspaper, the Chicago Tribune. And at this moment, it is my understanding, we have received 1 bid in for that contract, so we will ask, I will be asking for a motion to approve that bid. Okay, the towing contract is with ENR Tow. So I'm going to ask, I'll make a motion that we accept the bid from ENR Tow Company to move forward with this contract. And I'll ask for a second, please. Second. Okay, here a motion and a second. Any discussion? Yes. Okay. Trustee Belcher?
Just for discussion, I know that you just stated there are two companies right now that are doing the tow. I know in 2021, when we first got in, we approved one. Speaking to that company, they stated, and I'm waiting on a copy of the contract, that their contract is to 2026. So moving forward, even with vote on this new one, will they still be towing for the village because we have a current contract?
So this proposal would be for the second. We review their contract. I will say the reason for this RFP going out are numerous complaints that we're receiving on various pricing being done for individuals being told. People being told for one day at 500, 700, and fluctuating rates. My concern being that they're violating their contract, is not benefiting the residents of Dolton. And we wanted to make sure that, we want to make sure that we have consistency in the towing fee, and we have a company that's willing to work with the administration as well, and most importantly with the residents. I did highlight or note in the bid that was given, it was a fee for the first day of $225, $25 going back to the residents of the village of Dolton for each tow that's going in there, and they've promised to be good community partners. Additionally, they have a tow contract with the city of Chicago, so they are a very large and reputable company. But to answer your question, because I did kind of ramble a lot of things off there, but I just felt triggered, something came through me. The reason was because of contract disagreements. At this moment, it will be 2 companies, but as we review their contract, it may go down to 1.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that on record, because we don't want any pending litigation until we find out exactly what's going on, that they will remain in rotation until we move further. That's all, thank you.
So noted. Any additional comments?
And I'm sorry, that's just for the tow company that we approved in 2021, because although we found out that there are 2 tow companies, we only approved 1.
Correct. Any additional comments? Hearing none, I'll ask Clerk Key for a roll call, please.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, I'm gonna switch the order around quickly to, I'm gonna take D before C. Item D is an ordinance. I want to make sure I get the terminology. I got it. Do we have a number on it? 24-008, an ordinance amending the village code to add the requirement of 2 signatures on check to allow the mayor pro tem the authority to sign documents. This motion is put in place. The current ordinance has 2 signers on our bank account, the mayor and the clerk, which is the rightful way. We have challenged that before and had other court proceedings. This ordinance would allow for, if the mayor refuses to do her fiduciary duty to sign checks that the board have approved, it makes sure that the mayor pro tem can sign in her absence. Again, only in the absence or refusal, because we are recognizing that many cases a refusal to sign, which are delaying many projects similar to this district and other items. So we've been able to utilize this mechanism to make sure village business continues to go forward in the proper manner. So and this is a procedural thing that we need, as we have been in communication with the bank, because at this moment we only have the clerk is the only person that will be authorized, which is if the mayor refuses to sign. So this gives us the mechanism needed for the bank to authorize these signatures as well. So that's the reason for this. I motion that ordinance 24-008 be approved, and I'll ask for a second.
Second.
Hearing motion and second, any discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Key, roll call.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher. Motion passed.
Okay, and then we're going to cycle back to item C, which is the presentation and preliminary findings from former Mayor Lightfoot. I have a couple of comments. I don't know if any board members have comments too before I segue to Mayor Lightfoot. So this process started and the request started because for I would say up to at least up to a year, our administration and more importantly the residents have not had the opportunity to know what's going on financially with the records in our town. We've also looked at the investigation into what happened in Vegas, and we were not able to get answers. While we are aware that there are FBI subpoenas and a probable FBI investigation, we feel and felt the need for some answers that the community deserves, that this board deserves, and that in order for us to be on solid footing to make a plan. From the pieces that I've seen, it mirrors exactly what we knew, is that we are in a dire financial position. That is something that I think as the numbers come, we can be extremely frustrating to the residents of this community, and we want to make sure that we are recognizing where we are and using this as a jumping point to where we can to get back where we need to be and to thrive. So we want to make sure that everybody's taking in the information. We deserve to know this information. I want to echo the sentiments of Trustee Tammy Brown and saying thank you for all of the hours and all of the hard work. Not too many hours, we put a cap on it. But I want to say thank you for all of the hard work that has been put into this. We noted this as a preliminary report, but we felt it very urgent that we share the findings because we made promises to do this in a transparent manner with the community. So there still are some stages to go. I'm sure Mayor Lightfoot will talk about some of the hurdles and obstacles. And as a board, after the board has questions, the board will be present to answer what our next steps are. But without further ado, I want to turn over to Mayor Lightfoot.
Can you all hear me just fine, and particularly the folks in the back of the room? All right. First and foremost, I want to just emphasize a couple points that Trustee House and others have made. First of all, thank you to the trustees, to Madam Clerk, to Mike McGrath and Bert Olson. This has been a challenging investigation, to say the least, because we have not received the level of cooperation from the mayor and her team that I would have hoped. Nonetheless, we've had, I think, a breakthrough that's allowed us to be here in front of you today to give you the information that I know that the trustees for sure and the members of the public have been seeking for some time. But I do want to emphasize, this is just preliminary. We have more work to do, but as Trustee House said, we believe that it was very important to come before the members of the public so you would have some context for what the current state of your finances are as city government. As has been alluded to, that are made, but you've got to make that with as complete a set of information as possible, and that's what this presentation. Work is ongoing, and we expect to finish with in expedited fashion, but as I said, we wanted to get to you as quickly as possible. A couple of points, just so we're all, I'm not an accountant, and I suspect many of you in the room are not, but we will be covering some accounting terms. I wanted to just make sure that everybody had the same basic level of understanding as we go through these slides. We're going to talk about how the Village of Dolton handles its accounting system. We'll talk about in detail about the preliminary assessment of the financial status. We're going to go over what we've seen as increasing expenditures since 2021, unfunded expenditures, the current cash status, credit card use. Then we'll do a summary, and then we'll entertain questions from the trustees. So let me just jump right into it. Many of you know that the village, in the same manner as other municipalities in the state, accounts for its finances using what's called fund accounting. That means, that's just a fancy word of saying the expenses and the revenues are divided up into specific buckets of dollars, and those funds are what we're going to be talking about. The village maintains three categories of fund: a general governmental fund, the proprietary fund, and a fiduciary fund. Under each category, actually, I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Amanda, who will go into more detail about these different funds. Go ahead, Amanda.
So within each category, I have to talk about that. So within each category of funds, there are underlying funds that are used to account for resources that are for different purposes. The first category, governmental funds, includes the general fund, which is going to be the focus of our presentation this evening. And the general fund is what's used to account for the day-to-day operations of the village. Additionally, there are what are known as special revenue funds. These are specific funds for specific purposes. This includes the motor fuel tax and TIF money. The final governmental fund is debt service funds, where the village's debt obligations are accounted for, which is primarily the public bond debt. The final two categories of funds, which we will not be covering today, are proprietary funds, which account for transactions that are more business in nature, operations that should be funded by customer payments. That's the water fund, the sewer fund, and the fitness center. And the final are fiduciary funds, which are held for non-governmental parties, and that is the village's pension trust fund.
So let's jump into the specifics. Many of you know that the village's fiscal year runs from May 1 to April 30th. So it's in those 12 months, but they span 2 years. Certain financial disclosures are mandated under state law that the village reports to the comptroller of the state each fiscal year. Two documents that we're going to talk specifically about are the annual financial report, and you see the citation there, it's a state law, and the audited financial statements. The village has not, and let me repeat that, the village has not complied with these statutory requirements since fiscal year 2021. There's no annual financial report available after 2021, and no audited financial statements after 2021. So what that means is the information that we're providing you has not been thoroughly audited by a CPA, but we do have information coming from an entity that essentially serves as the finance department of the village. Historically, from what we can tell, the village has had small or no full-time financial staff. At various times, even though statutorily there's a provision for a city treasurer, none exists and hasn't for some time. There's a provision for a finance director. There's been intermittent people that have served that role, but that role has been vacant as of May of this year. And before that, the person who held the role started working part-time as of the end of December in 2023. So as you can see, given the lean or no financial staff, there's a lot of dependence upon the John Kasparic accounting firm, which is a functionally operated as the village's finance department for some time. What we have examined are monthly financial reports from January of 2021 to May of 2024, produced by the Kasparic firm. And as I mentioned, due to the village's failure to conduct an audited financial statement, we have to caveat the accuracy of the information, but we feel fairly confident based upon lining out not only the monthly reports, but looking at bank statements that match up with the information that's in the financial reports. And we've had the opportunity to talk to some of the folks at the Kasparic firm who are responsible for managing the finances of the village, and that work is ongoing. As of May 30th of this year, the village's general fund was in a net deficit position, meaning that there is insufficient funds in that general fund. As we mentioned, the general fund is used to account for the majority of the village's day-to-day operations, including payroll and vendor payments. The village's special revenue fund and debt service fund, however, are in a positive position, but each of those funds are restricted funds, meaning you cannot borrow from one to give to the other. And that is what's causing, in part, the financial crisis. What's next you can see is a graphic that depicts where we started as of April, where the village started as of April of 22, with positive of $5.6 million in the general fund, and where we are as of May of 2024, which is a negative $3.65 million.
Mayor Lightfoot, if I may.
Yes.
Just kind of as a summary now, just quick numbers. So in a 2-year span, And we're talking about a $9 million swing or $9 million of deficit over that course of time. Would that be most accurate?
Yes, sir.
All right, turning now to the increasing expenditures of the village. Over the last 3 fiscal years, the average monthly expenditures of the village have increased by nearly 30%. As you can see in the graphic, in fiscal year 2022, on average, the village spent about $1.9 million a month. But in the last fiscal year, that amount had climbed to $2.5 million. These increasing expenditures have not been accompanied by corresponding increases in revenue. Again, as you see in the graph on the blue bars, the revenues have remained relatively the same over that time period, around just over $24 million, while expenditures have climbed from $23 million in 2022 to $30 million in 2024. Ultimately, in fiscal years 2023 and 2024, expenditures exceeded revenue. Specifically in 2024, it was over more in expenditures. To look further at the increasing expenditures, the table on the screen highlights the 2 village departments that are the main drivers of this spending increase: the General Administration and Administrative Compensation Department and the Police Department. Turning first to the General Administration Department, turning first to the General Administration line, the increase in expenditures here has grown about approximately 47%. This was around $6.4 million in fiscal year 2022, and it was $9.4 million in fiscal year 2024. There have been increases in general administration spending in nearly every area, but there are a handful that stick out the most. As you can see on the first line, the largest driver of this increase is a more than double change in liability insurance cost. It's gone from $1.2 million in fiscal year 2022 to $3.2 million in fiscal year 2024. Other areas where we see large increases are miscellaneous expenditures, settlements, legal fees, and telephone.
Let me just add regarding the legal fees. These are, everything that we're representing to you tonight are things that have been booked in one of the general ledgers or otherwise. We know that the legal fees that have been booked so far are underestimated because there are a number of legal fees that have yet to be paid. And obviously, with the litigation that's been filed, particularly by vendors who have not been paid, those legal fees will definitely, this is a very conservative estimate of what those fees actually are. Let me drill a little bit down also in what we're seeing so far with the police department. Those expenditures have increased approximately 21% since FY22. Some of that is obviously driven by the union contracts and making sure that there's retro pay and that the police officers are compensated according to the collective bargaining agreement. Within the police department expenditures, categories with large increases include overtime, other miscellaneous expenses, and I will tell you we don't know exactly what that is, but we're working on unpacking that, contractual services, other professional services, and medical insurance. We wanted to highlight for you, particularly given overtime, what we saw as 2 outliers in officers, Officer Terry Young and Officer William Reed. Both of these individuals in the last 2 years have earned more in overtime than their base compensation. And you can see these numbers here. Officer Terry Young in FY 2023 earned $194,290 total, given the base salary and the overtime. and then in FY 2024, that increased to $227,351, combining the base salary and the overtime. Officer Reed, for FY 2023, had a total earnings of $145,450, and in FY 2024, $192,732. We thought it also important for you to know that Acting Chief Lacey has accumulated overtime. It's our understanding that he is not part of the collective bargaining unit and has not been for some time, which under normal circumstances would mean that he is not entitled to overtime. But as you can see here, for FY 22, FY 23, and FY 24, and we're now in fiscal year 2025, through those 4 years, he's accumulated $215,747,000 just in overtime. Now we're going to move, ladies and gentlemen, to unfunded expenditures. And this is really focused on, as we alluded to, we're going to move to unfunded expenditures, and this is really focused on checks that have been approved by the board from warrant lists that have come before the Board of Trustees, but held and not sent to the vendors. Based on the records that we have reviewed since March of 2023, the village has been unable to pay all of its monthly expenditures with available cash balance. Since that time, nearly every month, a portion of the checks approved and printed have been held by the village due to unavailability of funds. Per records from the John Kasperick firm, as of June 18, 2024, there are 589 checks totaling over $6 million that have been approved, printed, but not transmitted to vendors. And that is a big driver of the deficit in the general fund. This over $6 million in held checks, I want to caution, does not account for additional monies potentially owed by the village to vendors for which checks have not even been printed. These categories which we are looking into include, for example, invoices that have been received by village departments, but for one reason or another may not have been entered into the accounting system, which is called My Viewpoint. These invoices could have been entered into the accounting system, but not been approved by department heads or by the village administrator. And this could also include invoices that have not been approved by payment for the Board of Trustees. You're aware that from time to time, the warrant lists are presented, the trustees say, pay this, not pay that. Well, those checks that are on the warrant list roll over from time to time. And it probably makes sense just to explain really briefly. There is not a centralized repository for vendors to put their checks in electronically, or their invoices, I should say, so that it's automatically in the system. It has to be either hand-delivered or sent via email. It goes to the appropriate department head. Then it's up to that department head to approve and enter those invoices into the MyPoint system. And it depends upon the dollar amount of the invoice, who has final approval for those invoices to make it onto the warrant list. But that's the way the process works now. It will not surprise you that one of the recommendations that we will have when we finish our work is that the village invest in an automated system so that nothing falls between the cracks. The vendor will be able to see real time, where is my invoice moving through the system, and you'll know where it sits, either with the department head or otherwise.
All right, we'll turn now to discuss the cash status of the village. So the village has 22 different bank accounts. A majority of those bank accounts are designated for the special revenue funds or bond escrow funds. So the money in those bank accounts is restricted and shouldn't be used for day-to-day operations. I'll also note that these 22 accounts don't include the pension assets. The pension assets are held in separate trust accounts. Most of the village's expenditures each month are paid from one main operating bank account. As of June 30th, 2024, that bank account had a balance of $715,000. As of April 30th, 2021, that account had a balance of almost $1.5 million. So a decrease of over $750,000. In addition to the main operating account, historically, the village has held its excess cash in an account known as Illinois funds. Illinois funds are interest-bearing accounts that are managed by the Illinois Treasurer's Office that allow municipalities to earn interest on their excess cash balance. The balance in the Illinois funds account as of June 30th was only $3,900. As of April 30th, 2021, that balance was over $2 million. So the balance of excess cash has dropped by over $2 million in that time period. The monthly financial reports include a summary of the unrestricted cash balances of the village each month. Within these summaries, the balance reflected already accounts for those held checks that Mayor Lightfoot was just discussing, checks that have been issued but hadn't cleared because they haven't been sent yet to vendors. What you can see on the chart is that the unrestricted cash balance of the general fund has dropped from almost $5 million as of April 2022, and it is now, accounting for all of the checks that have yet to be sent, is now in a deficit position of over $5.5 million as of May of 2024.
We thought it was important to give you a little bit of insight into credit card use by village employees. We do not have complete information yet. It is our hope that we will get further cooperation and be able to have a complete picture of credit cards, but we wanted to share with you what we do know so far. We are aware that over this time period, from 2021 to the present, the village used 6 different credit cards at various points, from January 2021 through May of this year. 4 American Express cards that appear to have been used by various folks within the police department. The statements for these accounts were addressed to Ernest Mobley, Robert Collins, and Louis Lacey.
Mayor, may I interject there for a moment? Because we have, there was former Deputy Chief Mobley is present with us, and an amazing officer, so I'm sorry there was no misuse or misconduct on that behalf, so I want to make sure I state that because he has been a good officer.
Yeah, we all we know is what we've seen in the paper so far. We're not able these folks to get a better understanding of the specifics around credit card use. We have some knowledge of that, but we'll share that as part of the final report. There's 1 American Express card for which statements are addressed to Keith Freeman, the village administrator, and there was 1 Fifth Third card which statements are addressed to the village. We've been told that that card is no longer in use. We understand from the records we've received from the Kasperick company in interviews that we've conducted that receipts for credit card purchases are rarely provided. Further, we understand that the credit card balance, because it comes due, of course, every month, we all know that, is paid as a matter of course. And it was reflected in the accounting records as miscellaneous police department expenditures. We're looking into what is the reason and rationale for that. But what this means is that these credit card bills that are paid do not appear on warrant lists and are therefore not presented to the board for approval. Again, that will be a recommendation that we make, and the board is obviously aware of this issue, which is in part why they took the action that they took the other day to rein in the credit card spending. We also understand from the Kasperic company that the only time a credit card charge would be reflected on a warrant list is if a receipt is provided, and as I've said, our information is that the receipts are rarely provided. We want to highlight a couple of credit card purchases. You're having the same reaction that we did when we saw this. So in particular, we were very concerned to see the top 3 purchases that were highlighted for you that were booked on January 5th of 2023. That's roughly $40,000, a little more than that, in credit card purchases on Amazon in the same day. And our understanding is that the village does not have an Amazon account. These are somebody using one of the credit cards and charging these amounts using your tax dollars. We suspect we're going to see, as you can see, expenditures at Target, Walgreens, Best Buy, a number of charges that raise questions in our mind. Are these legitimate purchases using the credit cards? What we've also found in the credit cards, I know that there's been a lot of interest in travel, and we are highlighting here on this slide some of the travel that is reflected in the village credit cards. Birmingham, Alabama, and Montgomery, Alabama, in March of 2023 with 5 known travelers. Washington, D.C. in 2023 with 4 known travelers. Las Vegas, Nevada with 8 known travelers. Jackson, Mississippi in June of 2023 with 3 known travelers. Austin, Texas in July of 2023 with 3 known travelers. Portland, Oregon in July of 2023 with 4 travelers. Central and Southern Illinois in September of 2023. I think you're aware of what happened during that time. 10 hotel rooms booked during that travel. Traveled in New York City in October of 2023, 1 traveler. Atlanta, Georgia in November of 2023, 1 traveler on the village's credit cards. And I caveat that because we will, and are continuing to look at, I'll say, cross-pollination between the village and the township and the credit card use there as well. So let me summarize for you kind of what we presented, what we found so far regarding the finances. The general fund is used to pay the vast majority of the village's expenses, as you heard. As of May 31st of this year, the fund had a negative balance of $3.65 million. The village's general fund expenditures have exceeded revenues the past 2 fiscal years, ending April 30th, 2023 and April 30th, 2024. As of June 30th of this year, the cash on hand in unrestricted accounts is insufficient to cover the held checks valuing $6.1 million. We are in the current fiscal year of FY 2025, and the village has no budget that's been passed this year. The village's financial records have not been audited since FY 2021, and the village has not filed the mandated state annual reports since FY 2021. So where are we in terms of next steps? Regarding the financial information, there's a lot more work that we need to do, as I indicated. We've just recently got a lot of information. It reflected, for the most part, in this presentation, but there are other things that we have asked for, and we're hoping that we're going to get further cooperation from the Kasperic accounting firm. Additional details regarding credit card spending and any receipts that might exist. Detailed accounting records and reconciliations, check registers, which is important. Detailed accounting of inter-fund transfers and balances. What we're seeing, and we need to really look at the detail here, is that there is a transfer from one fund, in some instances there's restricted funds, into another fund, and vice versa. Additional detail, we're looking at what are the financial policies and practices in place, and whether or not those need to be changed, updated, or beefed up in any way. We are continuing to look at what happened in Las Vegas. There are 2 trips, one in May of 2022 and a second in May of 2023. And as I alluded to earlier, the relationship and the intermingling of funds and personnel with Thornton Township is something we're very focused on as well. We refer to the trustees.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Mayor Lightfoot and her colleagues, as well as our legislative attorneys as well for the time and effort put into that. So again, I'll ask for a round of applause for the work that's been done. I'm going to defer to any of the board members if there's questions of the report that has been presented. Okay, I'm going to turn over to Trustee Norwood.
There was a lot to digest there. I just want for the residents that, because I know sometimes there are a lot of residents that still don't understand. For us trustees, our job is to oversee the finances. For the last 3 years, I know it looks as though there's been a lot of fighting, but we've been fighting for transparency so that things like this won't happen. We were, out of my viewpoint, maybe about a year or two ago, we started looking and the information with the residents, they stopped that. Police overtime. In the very beginning, we stated, hey, I wasn't even totally opposed to police detail of some sort, but what I stated was for how long and how many, right? That's important. And it was important because now they never gave us this information, and now we see that we're spending millions of dollars in overtime, and the only one really protected in Dolton is her, and it's not fair. Vendors, you all have heard me say for the last few years, bring RFPs in front of the board, bring RFPs in front of the board. It's extremely important that we have a process put in place so that as trustees, we can make the right decisions regarding vendors. We want these services to be provided to the residents. I want you all to know that we're never against you all receiving services, but we don't want to pay more. We don't want people receiving kickbacks and charging us way more for the services that the residents deserve. Hopefully, moving forward, we need the mayor to work with us and provide services. That's the hopes. But in the meantime, we'll continue to show up. We're going to continue to work with the residents. We're going to continue to get you the information, right? And don't let's just hang in there. We're almost there. We're doing all the necessary steps. In terms terms of a board, because we still want to try to work with this administration to the end. Our goal is still to attempt, no matter what, for the residents. So I just want you all to know that we want to work together. That's the goal. We are put here for checks and balances, and hopefully they can start bringing things in front of us. Thank you.
Yeah, Trustee Belcher.
Y'all know it took everything in my soul to sit here and stomach this report. As we've been saying, and I'm gonna refer back to Trustee Norwood, anybody that has watched the meetings, I said, the checks that's sitting on the desk, that ain't the cash. Nobody has to come to a board meeting and tell a lie about anything. It's common sense. It's simple multiplication. When you have people emailing you every day about their invoices and payments. This goes as far back of June 9, 2022. It's sad. It's sickening. People came last month when we got our tax bills in an uproar about the tax. Can y'all imagine when we do take initiative to even start straightening this out, how our tax bill is going to look? That $6.8 million did never come. And it was spent before deposited. It's simple math. $6 million, $6.1 million in checks sitting somewhere. $40,000 at Amazon. What a slap in the face to everybody that reside in 60419 zip code. The meeting, and Mayor Lightfoot, I'm so grateful for this information that you provided, because it takes somebody else to come in to show that we've been trying to stop this. And we've been doing minimal damage. So could you have imagined if we just sat up there and approved everything that was going on? Because she's gonna ride off in her BMW and we'll still be here stuck. We have been financially raped. And when people rape people, they get anything they deserve. I'm just gonna say what I've been saying for months and months and months. The bag been empty in 2022. The bag, it was never anything in the bag. And you still continue to say, they're lying, they're lying, they're lying. Here is proof for everyone to see, and even the ones who doubt us. If you don't see through this, there's nothing I can say to you. Even last week, sitting with Mayor Lightfoot, it's a punch in the gut. As the lady said from out of town, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, led astray. All of that. And for a person to sit there and constantly lie, lie, lie. Every board meeting, I don't say much because I just can't see how the girl tell them lies like that. It's unbelievable for a person to say that and for people to believe. So we thank God for Mayor Lightfoot's being here today, her presentation. Now, if this doesn't open up the eyes to these residents and let us know what the, as we say, the black jobs mean black vote. Everybody, tell somebody. February of 2025, clean house.
said last week, it's a stomach ache. I've been punched all over tonight. It's ridiculous to see how our tax dollars have been recklessly spent by this young lady. So definitely give us time. Residents, we're asking you to work with us. We're doing our very, very best. So definitely hang in there with us. And thank you all again for coming out tonight.
I'm gonna also ask Attorney Olson to comment on some of the work that he's been doing.
So my takeaways from tonight and from what we have seen over the last 3 years that we have been legislative counsel for these trustees. Number one, the hiring of Mayor Lightfoot was not only smart, but incredibly necessary, as you see tonight. Her work is extraordinary and will continue to produce information for this board and for the public, which you need to know and the board needs to know in order to try to right the ship. Without her and her skill and her staff, we wouldn't be sitting here tonight with this information for you. There is a lot of work to do. More financial discovery from Mayor Lightfoot, more layoffs and readjustment of personnel, leadership change at the police department, stopping of harassment of employees, and for us, the lawyers, trying to work with the 40-plus lawsuits that have been filed against this village in the last 3 years. Our firm has not been paid for 3 years. Why? Because the mayor won't sign the checks in hopes of us leaving. She has a motion to fire us on every agenda and usually rails against us on every agenda. But I can tell you this, we're not leaving, and we're staying in the class. I just ask as a human being, not as a lawyer, not as a politician, that the people of the village of Dolton stick with this board of trustees to share the role in and of themselves. And I don't say that because there's an election coming. You'll get plenty of information on that. But I say that because we have hard months ahead. Knowing these finances, knowing what we just went through to get some insurance for the village, which was extraordinarily difficult and incredibly costly, we have a lot of work to do to right the ship, a lot. So I want to thank Mayor Lightfoot, who I've known for many years and admired for many years, and her staff. And I certainly want to thank the Mayor Pro Tem and the trustees and your wonderful clerk who works under difficult conditions. And who did get into the village hall today, even though the mayor changed the locks again for the third time to lock everybody out of the village hall, including the employees and the trustees that she didn't want in there. So we continue, every day there's something new. So I just want to thank you, Jason House, and the board, and Mayor Lightfoot. Thank you.
I want to highlight one comment made by Attorney Olson, Attorney McGrath. 3 years with no pay. 3 years without pay. Not many, if any, other attorney would take on that walk with the board, with the residents of this community. And it seemed that every turn as things were getting worse, Bert got more pissed. So I'll just jab at him and say, "You heard what she say about you?" But in all candidly speaking, there is when we talk about partnerships and what it takes for us to try to get to an end. And I'm saying this because, as you see, we have a big hole. So we want to make sure that the partnerships continue because that's what's going to get us out of this hole as well. And I want to say thank you for the service that you guys have provided. Okay, I want to turn over to Mayor Lightfoot for kind of her final comments. As the board is asking questions, we're going to pause and give them a moment to exit. The board is here to answer questions, but I'm also serious about this hourly rate that I don't want to make sure we spend frivolously.
It's the friends and family.
But we want to make sure all comments are heard and rightfully so. The board is here, and we'll make some comments on what our next steps and our plan is, and we're here to hear from the residents after that. But Mayor Lightfoot, please.
I just want to share a couple of final comments with you all. I know how I felt when I started seeing these numbers, so I can imagine how all of you were feeling after all this time being in the dark. And I just want to know that this isn't just a job, this isn't just some task. We feel this, and so we have worked very, very diligently, very hard under difficult circumstances to get as much information as we could to share with you. You may hear a number of things in the coming days, but what I can assure you is the information that we have shared, that we're putting our names on, is drawn directly from the financial records of this village. We wouldn't be here sharing this information, advising the trustees and talking with legislative council if we didn't have confidence in the numbers. There are other people, but we got to verify from Sunday, but this, if you hear this is fake news, it's not real, well, this is real. The last thing I'll say is we figured that folks would probably want to take a little time to study these numbers in a little more detail. We have 100 copies of this deck that we will leave, paper copies. So after the meeting is over, you can feel free to come get them, first come, first serve. Don't worry, media, we've already shared the electronic copies with you all, so you should have that. But again, thank you for showing up for yourselves and for your families and for your community.
I'm going to pause briefly to give Mayor Lightfoot and attorney a moment to exit, and then we're going to make some final comments from the board in terms of next steps, and then we will open for citizens address.
Yo, was that not crazy or what? That was we didn't see that coming. I know I didn't. 'Cause she was saying that the money is there and all of this stuff and da 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 boo boo boo. And they lying on her. Yes, great. That is just absurd. She probably did take the good mics, but they was working earlier. I don't know what happened at the end because it seemed like the mic had cut off. You gonna say did she take the mic? Took the good mic. Probably did because she trifling like that. That girl is trifling just like that. She do shit like that. Girl, that blew my mind, especially those unmailed checks. Man, the whole thing. So what they doing a vote now? What is the vote for? She said they giving her time to escape. But what is the vote for right now?
Just so everybody knows, we are reconvening in 5 minutes. Reconvening in 5 minutes.
So they reconvene in 5 minutes. So basically, now we know where the money at. Now we see where the money went, what's going on with the money, and it's not there. Like they keep on saying, the money is gone. It's not there. Tiffany keep on saying it is there. They lying, and mind you, she kept on waiting for these grants. So I guess that's probably why she was spending the money because she was going to probably replace it with the grants. But how the fuck? What the fuck is you buying at Amazon? She must have laced her whole house out or something. Her house, her mother house, uh, Lacey house, Kamal house. She ain't pay his motherfucking child support though. The fuck? That's what you should have did. That's your man. This shit is just absolutely crazy. Exactly like what could you have spent at Amazon for 40K? Like, come on now. And that's just she don't know how to budget. She is real fucked up with money. They need to go take all that shit. For real. I'm telling you. Matter of fact, I swear to God, what they need to do is just take all that shit, whatever she got, and sell that shit back and get some of that money back. You might don't get, you know what I'm saying, because once you buy it, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna get the same value price, but you would probably get at least 20 back. Something. And that's another thing. They saying what she spent, but what did she spend it on? Like, I break that shit down and go get that shit. That shit had to been delivered somewhere or something had to happen. You gotta get into the whole nitty gritty. Cause the fuck, I would take all that shit back. The fuck. Now. Oh, hey, Brandon. What's up, Brandon? I ain't seen you in a while. She probably furnished her mother. She probably furnished her mother. Listen, Claudia, that's a whole lot. Her mother house, her house, Kamal house, Lacey house. She probably fucking furnished Andrew home shit. And whoever that fuck with her. All the polices and all of that. $40,000. Come on now, off of Amazon. You had to fucking you fucking treated everybody. You had to. It's not making sense. And then somebody said, gift cards. She put it all in gift cards. I be calling my realtor. It only takes about 5 minutes. Yeah, I see you say you go buy some houses down there. So what, the houses is cheap? Is the houses cheap down there? Fat Mac, is the houses cheap down there? What they going for? Shit. They about to make me get a piece of the action. I had to sell my shit and relocate. Amazon selling rock. Something must be going on, yo. I'm trying to tell you. This is ridiculous. 40 fucking G's at Amazon. Alright, they about to start back up on some other shit. Yo, bitch, tell my look, it got to be rocks. What is it? DOPE? It got to be something. Somebody doing something they ain't got no business doing. The Perkies. It's popping Perkies. Hey, yo. Go popping Perkies. Hit that like, yo. Hit that like.
Hear me clap twice?
All right, come on. Let's
It
go.
actually works. Can we hear me clap 3 times? All right, thank you. I love the camaraderie and spirit. We want to reconvene our meeting so that way we can talk about next steps, allow for feedback.
All right, let's hear the next steps, yo. I'm going to mute up.
Adjourn this meeting.
But they need to fix their mics, though.
We've been able to accomplish in the recent weeks is our deputy clerk. In recent weeks, because of some of the diligence of the board, diligence of the clerk's office, with the assistance of our attorneys, we're pleased to announce Deputy Clerk Eris Montgomery is back in the village of Dolton. I ask that she come forward. Where's Deputy Clerk Montgomery? Is she here? I did tell her she was coming. Okay, when she arrives, we'll ask her to step up front and take the rightful seat along with our board members. We want to make that announcement. Number 2, President Cleo Jones had some announcements she wanted to make to the community of progress that's going on, so I'll ask that you join.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming out to the Dolton Park District. It was a very orderly meeting. I appreciate you guys. We have to go through no metal detectors. I'm here in the car. Yes. So let me tell you guys a little bit, what progress is going on. First of all, I'd like to thank the Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to thank the village trustees for all the hard, diligent work they have done. I also like to thank our attorney, Michelle Broughton-Fountain, is here. We have our Board of Commissioners, Vice President Gail Towers, is she still here? We have Commissioner Harris, Commissioner Rochelle, and Commissioner Wells, if they both are still here. So the progress that has been made was, we've been working very, very hard to improve our parks throughout the Dolton community. And we've been getting a whole lot of obstructions, getting that done by getting the proper permits put in place to get this done by the village of Dolton. So we finally, after many, many years, after several years, well, not several years, but after years of trying to proceed to get permits to get a project started, a reconstruction project started at Blackstone Park, located at 146 in Blackstone. We finally got the permits put in place. Finally. Once again, I thank the trustees for their hard, diligent work on making this happen for us. Also, clerks, we thank you guys as well. You guys have prior to sign off on this to get this done. We really appreciate you guys. So, without further ado, beginning August 1st, which is Monday, Blackstone Park is going under construction. And with that construction, Blackstone Park is going to get a complete renovation. Things like including a walking path, a gazebo, a life-size game table, picnic shelter, additional parking, a fitness area, and a brand new playground that's coming in. This is some of the things that, on behalf of our trustees, help us to get done. So we appreciate, on behalf of the Dolton Park District, we appreciate you, the community, who stood up and helped fight the bully to ensure that this is our community, this is our town, and these are the things that we need to get done. You got to understand something. It's not about one person. It's not about one person. It's about all of us. Why would we have to take our kids to Orland Park, Tilly Park, to play in their playgrounds when we have our own playgrounds? We're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to build this partnership, and we're going to continue to work with our trustees. We thank them for all they have done, and we appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, President Jones. So just some comments as we talk about this, and we have become, or maybe remain, a town divided over these years. So I want to make sure that we're focusing on what happened only by way of knowing what not to do to repeat our past failures, what we need to do to overcome or put safeguards in places, and strengthen policies and procedures. In some cases, in many cases, we've had the policies and procedures on the books, and they're just not being followed. But through persistence, and I'm going to say persistence not only of this board, but many Dolton residents. So I want to ask that you give yourselves a round of applause, because without the many people that come in week after meeting after meeting, stating what's going on and saying, as a resident of this community, I'm not happy. And we've been termed in many ways as kind of an issue, and some other expletives that are not favorable. That's not what we want for our community. I do have to say that in any town, when the numbers look that bad, there should be some noise. There should be some outrage. There should be some frustration. To that end, we want to start now working towards resolve. And that's what this meeting is about, is getting to the bottom of what's happening so we can start having our plans moving forward, and we can bring back order to Dolton in order to our finances. With that said, some of the things that we have implemented, we've already implemented credit card freezes. And I think the biggest component of us, and us being the board, us being the residents, us being this community, us being the media, exposing is that it's made anybody leery of taking more missteps in the future. It's gotten the administration and many people in it to give us the cooperation that we've deserved for many, many years. So while I'm frustrated at what it took for us to get here, I'm pleased that we can start to see the end of the road, and you can see things like the Park District getting their permits. We can see that we have a deputy clerk back. We can see business licenses coming back to this community. This board has remained diligent, this community has remained diligent, and we will continue this until we get back to where we deserve. There will be a hiring freeze. The board has already made the announcement that we are going into a hiring freeze that will be voted formally at our next board meeting. And as we see, it's necessary. I don't want to scare employees by saying that there are layoffs needed, but there are tough decisions that have to come when this budget, in this upcoming budget, that we are overdue on approving. So the next big step for us is we want everybody to watch out for the budget process, because it will be coming very quickly. We will make sure it's done transparently and have open discussions, and we will have it with the department managers, so that way we can identify what the cuts mean in terms of service. We will implement a travel policy, which is overdue and much needed. And sometimes you think that things are common sense, and you're like, why should we have to have a policy for it? But you have to do what you have to do at many moments. And I think it's important that we know when we have $6.1 million of checks and vendors that are out there, we want all vendors to know that we will be contacting them. And we fully intend on taking care of that debt. And we will be working with them to make sure they are made whole, because they do not deserve to be in this process as well. So with all those things being said, that kind of gives a snippet or overview. We can talk more through that with the trustees this Saturday, 9:30, Dolton Park District. So having said that, I'll see if any colleagues on the board have any comments, and if not, we're going to open for public comments. Hearing none, we're going to open for public comments. We'll ask 3 minutes. After 3 minutes comes, I will do a wave, letting you know that you hit the 3-minute mark, and we'll ask that we conclude at that moment.
Greetings, everyone. In view of tonight's report, I think one thing is apparent. Since Thornton Township has been used to launder money, commingle funds, and things of that nature, I think it's a long time that we start going to their meetings also, and that we start working together, trustees to trustees, citizen to citizen. We have to find a way to rid our village of that malevolent administration that we now live in. So the only way I can see to do that, we have to fight them from every angle. Because right now, they go from one entity to the other, doing this, doing that, and even with the great work done by Mayor Lightfoot, they still haven't been able to track down everything that they're doing. So in order for us to thrive, we are the canaries in the coal mine right now. We need to make that apparent to everyone in this South suburban region. It happened to us. She's using you all, he's using that entity to wash the money. It's pretty obvious. And we gotta find a way to stop that. And I do have a question. Do any of these things, if proven, does any of this stuff rise to the level of criminal? I don't know who might know that, but that's got to be something. They can get a guy for selling $10,000 out of a bank or something, embezzling. This is embezzling on a grand scale. That's pretty much all I have to say right now.
So I'll give a quick response. We feel that it does rise to the level of criminal. All information received in our report and further reports will be turned over to all authorities relevant to make a final determination.
I'm so accustomed to public comments. So this is to every resident of that is here and not here. This is to let you know, this is not fake news. This is real. And to all the residents that seem to think that this is not real, you need to get a copy of this. To all the residents that think, oh, she's doing a great job and she's giving this party and we're going to get hot dogs and they're giving the kids Easter baskets and televisions and CD players and laptops. That's our money. It ain't her money. It's our money. And free 99 ain't always good. So I implore every resident that seems to want to go to every event that she does, stop going. Stop going. Support nothing that she's giving. What you need to do is support these individuals up here that's been working for us. And to all individuals, because it's election time, to all the individuals that want to throw their hat in the ring, or I'm going to run for trustee, or I'm going to run for village clerk. No, these are the individuals that have been working for us. Pour your time, get out, make telephone calls for Clerk Key, for Jason House's mayor, for Brittany Norwood to retain her seat as trustee, for Kiana Becker, who ain't have the receipts, to continue her job as our village trustee. That's what the Village of Dolton residents need to do. This is real. It ain't fake either.
Greetings, residents. Former trustee Edward Steve, to the media, to the camera, to the YouTube, we've been known for these chaotic board meetings over the last few months.
So they think that's all Dolton is. Look how smooth this meeting was today. Look how calm, professional. That's not what Dolton is. This is what Dolton is. So when y'all see this news media, and when y'all see how special, how smooth this meeting was, know that this is Dolton. The other meetings is not Dolton. This is Dolton. I want to say also, it's for years, they've been saying every meeting, they don't want to pay these people. Pay the people, pay the people. How come Stan Brown ain't here today? He's been saying, pay the people, pay the people. And we've been saying, no, they don't have the money. So now it's vindication when you sit there and get berated over and over again, and people come to you and say, how come you don't pay the people? Why are you holding up the vendors? This shows you that she's been lying the whole damn time. The whole damn time. So I thank y'all. I thank you, trustees, and Clean House 2025.
Good evening, everyone. I've got two questions and a comment. We love you guys. This is our future, but don't forget Ed Steele. My question number one is, how many people in this audience are not registered to vote? How many people in this audience know someone who is not registered to vote? Well, it's obvious they're out here. We're all registered, and I guarantee you, we don't all vote. We need to change that. We have people who have signed up, and they're now deputy registers. If you know someone, reach out to the trustees, reach out to us. We will make sure that's done. But stop sitting at home. You go to the clubs, you go to church, you go to the store, you go wherever you want to go in the winter. Go to the polls.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the trustees and everyone here. I prepared a speech. I'm a little nervous, but I wanted to say my piece today. So I want to start by expressing my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you. And as a resident of Dolton, I've been a resident of Dolton for the past 3 years. I live here with my husband and my 5 children. Many of you know me, some of you don't. But I've been here, like I said, for 3 years, and I'm also a new business owner here. So I felt truly welcome by this community, and that's the thanks to the incredible support I received from all of you, and also from the trustees and clerk, you as well. So I can't express enough how much that your help has meant to me, especially when I was facing my own personal challenges. You were there when I needed someone to turn to, and that support made all of the difference to me. So I'm so thankful to each and every one of you for standing by me, particularly when others, including Mayor Tiffany Henry, was not available to offer me assistance. So living and working in Dolton has been an eye-opening experience for me. While there's been so much potential and so many wonderful people in this town, I've also seen the challenges that we face. And I hope to work closely with Mayor Henry, with someone from our own generation, to uplift and empower women like myself in our community. And it's heartbreaking to say it again said, I've been confronted with troubling rumors, not rumors anymore, facts, of corruption and dishonesty. It's disheartening to hear the truth and about the expenditures and scams associated with Tiffany Mayor Hendricks' tenure here as mayor. And it's not the reality I wish to find in the town that I've come to care about. So I want to thank you and the trustees, all of you who have supported me. I'm honored to be a part of this community, and I look forward to working together with all of you to make Dolton a better place for everyone.
I'm proud to say she's my neighbor.
Good evening, everyone. Right now, I'm in limbo as far as my living situation, and I was kind of undecided as to whether I wanted to reside in Look, now that all of this information has come out, and I see how much the trustees love residents and this village, I think this is going to be my home. Sorry. I'm going to be a dog here. I'm saying I love you guys. You know I love you guys. Good evening, residents. My name is Cassandra Jordan. I've been a resident here in Dolton for 16 years. And when I look at the situation and everything that's going on, I can just honestly say I'm just so disgusted with what is going on in this village. And I want to encourage the voters, because I've come to the point that I don't just vote because you're just black. We have to start doing our due diligence and start researching the people that we actually cast our votes for. We can no longer just take handouts and because you're my favorite or because I like you. We have to literally start doing our research. And for those of you that voted for Tiffany, I'm just gonna honestly say, you might not like me, you just didn't do your research. I mean, you can honestly look at this chick and see that there was an issue and that there was a problem. I mean, when you do your research, you see, I mean, if you got a person with a criminal background, who in their right mind would have put her in position? So I say to you all, do your due diligence and just stop voting for people because they're black. We have to do our research. And if a lot of you all had done your research, a lot of this stuff would have been avoided. That's all I have to say.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Brewer, and you know, I moved here in September 2019. And I thought, you know, it was a nice village at the time I moved here. It's really ironic with all the stuff that's happening, and I just bought my house. It was like I couldn't just sell it and move somewhere else. So I am so very glad that we are getting to the point where we're getting this taken care of. Because it would be a shame for me, somebody who just moved into the village, to have to move out because of things that are happening. And what I'm also asking for is transparency. When I first moved here, I can go on the website, I can see what all the trustees were doing, and it was easy. Now it's like, it's hard because I have to follow your website and some other places, and sometimes some of the activities that you put on, we don't even know about because they're not placed anywhere for us to see. So I'm looking forward to having the website be more transparent, having the trustees' information, and also when we do public comment, we don't get, you know, we used to be able to get some feedback, you know, so those things, please bring them back. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody. We're going to be adjourning, so I think Trustee Belcher, I have a motion to adjourn. I hear the motion, the second. Clerk Key, please roll call.
Trustee Norwood. Aye. Trustee Tammy Brown. Aye. Trustee House. Aye. Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 8:13 p.m.
I want to thank everybody. Hope to see you soon. It's great to see you.
There are two phones that, where were they left? There are two phones that were left in the bathroom. Two phones left in the bathroom. Please check to see if you have your phones. Please check to see if you have your phone. you gonna get the top mics? Ed.
Make sure you hit those like button.
Make sure y'all like and subscribe to Reality Check TV Chicago. Hit them up on the Cash App. Show y'all appreciation for a good show tonight. Coming out here volunteering this time to show y'all what's going on in the community. So like and subscribe. Hit him up on the Cash App. Much love, y'all.
DJ Rico 113. That's the Cash App. $ DJ Rico 113. Okay, I'm actually parked on this side.
Hello.
How you doing? God bless you.
See, men and Dolton probably don't want to be part of this bullshit. The men in Dolton probably don't want to be a part of this bullshit. Yo, hit me up tomorrow, Mac. I'm doing another live about this situation. You already know how I do. Please come through. You already know. I already know, bitch. So my look. I know you'll come through.
Cash App in the chat.
I ain't see Sweat for the night.
DJ Rico,
yeah.
113.
We going
DJ
big
Rico,
live
113.
tomorrow
Put that in the chat for me.
and talk about it.
There you go. Appreciate you, Raging Cajun. $ DJ Rico 113.
There y'all, make sure y'all hit those likes. I hope y'all enjoyed what Lori Lightfoot had to say about about what's going on with the finances and everything, with the whole thing. You know, I enjoyed it. It was nice.
I be telling like, because I get him the website because he's a videographer. And
all right, y'all, I'm about to get up out of here, about to eat something.
And he said you're getting back.
Get up out of here, wash my ass, and lay down.
There's a lot coming from
But thanks for coming through, everybody. I enjoyed. Make sure y'all hit those likes if y'all haven't. I appreciate everybody for coming through, spending this time with us.
Don't hurt yourself. $ DJ Rico 113. I appreciate you, conscious. Miss Alger. Choose compassion.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I appreciate you, brother. Ryan girl, I see you. Lotus, I see you. Conscious in the building. $ DJ Rico 113.
Hey, you go. You still live, right? Yeah. No, cool. I know, man. Yeah, I got this. I don't want to say it right now. No, I'll take one.
Don't try to hop on the fence.
Unplug it.
I will, yeah.
Appreciate everybody for checking in.
Hell no, ain't nothing funny about this.
That's one of those.
But you gotta be happy. You can't really be mad at the end of the day.
This yours, brother?
Long as ain't nobody hurt nobody, I like to see hugs and smiling because at the end of the day, it could be some other shit. They could be fighting and smacking the shit out of somebody. Ever what they heard tonight, you know, because I would be livid if that was happening in my town or my state or my you know what I'm saying? I would be definitely livid. But all right, y'all, thanks for coming through. I love you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for coming through. Y'all just don't know how much this means to me. I just, I wish it can get better in Dolton. I never been there. But I would want to see that everything is, yeah, I'm saying, like, who want to live in a town like this and stuff is going on and shit is happening like it is and, it's just not good. People stealing money, you know. And, buddy.
All right, you gonna sign out?
Mm.
Reality Check TV. Don't forget to hit that cash out. $sign DJ Rico 113.
All right, y'all, I'm out. I think. Man, I'm out. All right, y'all. Everybody be safe. Like I said, love on your family, love on one another. And best to believe that I love y'all too. And there's nothing y'all can do about it.